Hello, Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer at Functional Aesthetics CC. We're helping average guys perform better in their life, inside and outside the gym. In today's video, we're going to be showing some basic back and biceps training. So a lot of times in the social media community, you get kind of like paralysis of the analysis, because the very nature of marketing is that people are trying to put out more information to essentially differentiate themselves from the crowd, to show their expertise, to show different variations, to show how they're different than everybody else. And as a result, you start becoming more and more granular and more nuanced in the styles of the workouts that you're portraying. When in reality, yes, there are many of these workouts are beneficial, many of these different ways to work out and different exercises are beneficial, but they are not needed for the vast majority of people starting out, and you can continue to see progress in your workouts just sticking to some basics. So in today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating just kind of a basic back and biceps flow that you can go through to get some good results in your training. Now, the one thing that I might add into this, if you were to go and do some training in the gym, would be doing some vertical pulling exercises to kind of round everything off. Also in my back exercise workouts, I typically like to add in ab work as well, because abs counteract the action of your erector spinae muscles. So keeping that the force couple in the hips balanced. Abs pull the pelvis up in the front, the back pulls it up in the back. And so if you get an imbalance between your abdominals, your glutes, or your back muscles, then it can pull your pelvis out of whack, give you that lower cross syndrome where you have this excessive anterior pelvic tilt, which decreases your force production in hip extension when you're running, and also can lead to lower back pain as well. So without further ado, we'll get into the workout demonstration, and I will see you on the flip side.
Music bed. Music bed.
enjoyed it. And as I said, it's pretty basic, sticking to some compound movements at the beginning, so the deadlifts. Now, the very first exercise in the video was an overhead squat. Now, you might actually be wondering why that was in there. And really the reason was because I felt like doing overhead squats on that particular day. But be that as it may, overhead squats are actually a great way to increase core stability, particularly the transverse abdominals, or the abdominals at the deepest core level that essentially act as a natural weight belt. You also have to have that breath control to be able to stabilize your entire thoracic spine as you're going down into the movement. So you could say that it is an ab exercise of sorts in that regard. So after that, doing starting out with some compound lifts. So I was doing bent over barbell rows, and the reason why was because when you're doing an overhead squat, you're working the shoulders to a certain degree as well, and then sometimes I like to hit the backside, the rear delts, and the rhomboids just to kind of tighten everything up, because when you're doing stuff where you're working overhead, you want to make sure you're keeping that balance in the shoulders just the same as you are in the hips, which I talked about at the beginning of this video. Now, following after that, I was essentially just laddering up progressively from a light 225 pounds in the deadlift, going 275, 295, and then I think I topped off 345 or whatever. And so just kind of laddering it up as you typically would to get yourself warmed up. Now, oftentimes with powerlifting routines and the heavy compound type movements, such as your bench press, your overhead press, your deadlifts, and your squats, you'll do a 5x5 workout routine, which is a typical beginner workout routine for building strength, right? Now, another way you can do it, and this is actually something that my dad taught me when I was starting out with bench pressing, is to essentially warm yourself up with 10 reps of an exercise, and then add about 10 to 20%, depending on if it's an upper body or lower body exercise. Do 7 reps, then again do add some more weight onto the bar, so that 10 to 20% as I talked about before. Do 5 reps, again add the weight, 3 reps, 2 reps, and then you can hit that 1 rep max and then go down in reverse, and that way it allows you to get a little extra volume. You get plenty of warm-up coming up, but not too much, because oftentimes if you spend too much time in the warm-up phase, or you do too many reps building up, by the time you get to that single heavy lift, you're too fatigued to actually do it because the muscles have already been worn out. So I find it's a very efficient way to do that, a very efficient way to structure your workouts. And then, of course, after you're doing your deadlifts, and sometimes even mixed in with the deadlifts, doing the bent over barbell rows as a multi-joint movement, so not quite as intense as doing a deadlift, because the deadlift's going to work most of the major muscles in the body, and then the barbell row is still going to be, hamstrings and low back for stability, and then you're working your biceps to a small degree, and then your rear delts and your rhomboids is the primary focus of the bent over barbell row. Now, if you use a more narrow grip with the bent over barbell row, it'll be more lat focused, but since I tend to do wide grip lat pull downs and pull ups for that, I like to use my bent over barbell rows to hit the rhomboids and also the rear deltoids, and that's why I use a little bit wider grip when I'm doing my rowing. Then, of course, coming down to the biceps, biceps actually just fit really well in with rowing exercises, because, as I said, you're slightly using the biceps when you're doing the rowing, and so at the end of the workout, when you're a little bit more fatigued, you can throw in some biceps curls, throw in some chin-ups or whatever, as more of direct bicep work. Now, with the chin-ups, of course, you're going to be using your lats and some of your back muscles, depending on the grip width that you're using, but still mainly concentrated on your biceps. So that is the general layout of that. As with any other workout, you start out with, after your warm-up, start off with those compound movements, because you're going to use up the most amount of energy, activate the most amount of muscles, increase the most amount of anabolic hormones, and which will kind of have an overflow effect to your other workouts, right? Or the other exercise in your workout. Then you go to the ones that are a little bit less intense, as in the case of this workout, this video. You're doing your bent over barbell row, and then you're doing your isolation work. So if you're doing a bench press session, maybe that isolation work would look like doing some tricep press downs, skull crushers, something like that, just to add in a little extra direct work for those muscles. And maybe you're doing like pec flies or something at the end of the workout to really burn out the chest muscles if you have hit a plateau and you feel like you really are trying to kind of break through that, or add a little bit extra muscle mass that you're not getting from just doing basic compound movements. So guys, that's all I have to say for this video. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm for other people that would find this video useful. Also, if you'd like to see more content related to not just me working out and talking about it, but also how workout design, both for building muscle, fat loss, also diet for athletic performance, building muscle, fat loss, and then working around injuries if you should get them in the gym, and then also how to prevent those injuries from happening in the first place, then consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the button in the lower right hand corner of the screen. We'll see you all next time for more health and fitness related information. Thanks guys for watching.